Hello students, welcome to week 7. We are working with module 9 and this will be the title for this module is automating worksheet tasks, and it's pretty much working with macros. The objectives of this module will be planning a macro, enabling, recording, running, editing if you need to, assign some keyboard shortcuts to macros. There's a few things that you can do with macros. I know some of you mentioned to me when we had those face-to-face classes that you were pretty familiar with them. So hopefully this module goes pretty easy. For those that have not done macros, it's not difficult at all. To me, it's something easy. This is where you develop. It goes step by step from the textbook, but as you start getting familiar how to plan, how to create and enable a macro, you will see that it's pretty, friendly to develop a macro. Okay, so what are macros anyway? So a macro I have here that is an automated input sequence that imitates keystrokes or mouse action. So what does that mean? So for example, you know how we have different shortcuts. If you will use the keyboard, you will do Control P to print, Control S to save, that type of thing. So you can create your own. Okay, you can plan one, you can run it, you can edit it. So for example, let's say that I have reports that I have to print at the end of the day if I'm working. All those reports need to be landscape. They need to be margins 1 inch on all 4 sides. And just a few more things maybe that I want these reports to be able to print all the time. Instead of me going through all the process of, okay, this is how I want to print in landscape, margins and that type of thing, I can create a macro that I can just use the keystrokes after I'm done with the macro for these reports, and then it automatically will be landscape, automatically will be margin size 1, all 4 sides of the pages for the reports and that type of thing. So this is the reason why you create macro. That's just an example. So I actually going to start working a little bit on Excel page 204, just so you understand how to start. The assignments for this week is obviously completing a handstand, because that will take you step by step. Pages Excel 204 through Excel 217. And then of course we want to do some practice to make sure we are mastering these skills by repetition, doing the same thing. So we will create the excuse me, independent challenges 1 and 2, and then the pages are 221 and 222. And the last thing I'm going to ask you to do obviously will be the quiz. And it's open book, it's not time, to take your time. If you have any questions on this, again, I can always schedule, we can also schedule a live section for me and whoever needs it, the student, and I could just go through a few steps and kind of guide you if you need that one-on-one. Okay. So if I start on Excel 204, it's asking me to open Excel, and I'm just gonna go open Excel over here from my computer, and there you go. And it's asking us to use a blank workbook. So once it's open, I'm gonna create from a blank workbook right here. And then of course it's asking us also to save it. So just for the purpose of kind of showing you how it's done, I'm just going to go through the process here. File, save as. I have a million things here, so I'm just going to save it to, and I'm going to browse to my downloads so that I can delete it later because I got so much going on here. So downloads, and then it's letting you know to save it as EX9 macro. I'm just going to hit the save button. So here we go. The other thing they're going to ask you to do is to go on File tab. Now, notice that I already have the Developer tab here. I didn't have it before. You need to go get it, okay? And this is on page 204. So I already have it, but I'm still going to go through the process so I can show you where it is. So it's asking us to go to File, which is the backstage. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go all the way to Options. Your option button might be here. It all depends what type you have in Windows, okay? So here we go, and then after that it's going to ask you to click on the Customize ribbon. So I'm going to click right almost at the middle of these categories, okay? And then it says click on the developer checkbox if necessary. Obviously, just you may have it already or not. it says on the right side of the screen, select OK. So the developer is actually right here. So at your end, you may not have a check mark. So I'm just going to have you click a check mark and then click OK. And then you should be able to see it on your ribbon right here. Then it says click on the developer tab. So I'm going to do that right away. And then it's click on the macro security button to cut the group. Okay. So it's asking us to click on the macro security button on the code group. So let's click on the code macro security right there. Okay. And then on the setting for this macro setting, it says click enable all macro. So it's actually, it says not recommended, potentially dangerous. Should be fine. Just click. I believe it's something it was over here for you, but you need to select this in order to work. Okay. And then we're just going to click OK. So this page is done in terms of Excel 205. Then you have some screenshots on Excel 205. And then let's start recording a macro. So then now it says to actually click on the record micro button on the left side of the status bar. So under the code, you have the record macro button right here. So I'm just going to record one. Okay. And now it's asking us to type the name for this macro. We're going to call it HQSDAM. Okay. Yes. And then it says in the store macro in the list that does not display the workbook, it has to display this workbook. So let's make sure that store macro in this workbook. Okay. And then we want to make sure that you type your name on the description, which is right here. So let's type our name. Okay. Let's see, did I miss anything? Your name and description. Okay, now we're gonna press Control Home, and that's basically do that. Control Home, and that's basically to go on A1, which we are already. And then here it's going to ask us to Cape Town, to type these two words, and then click on the enter button on your formula bar, which is right here. And then you're going to click on Home tab. So there we are. And on the Format tab, and the Format button on the Cells group, this is the cell, this is your Format button. It's going to ask us to click on the Font tab. I need something, home format, and then format cell. Oh, format cells, I'm sorry. So you go all the way at the bottom, and then it's asking us to click the font tab over here. And then we're going to click on bold. We're also going to click the underline list arrow, and the underline is not right now, so just I think they want to be a single line, so that should be fine. And then click on the color, which is here, and then let's get to a blue color. Doesn't matter what blue, just pick a blue. That's it. And then you're going to click OK. So your wording should be, added those formatting that we just did. Now, after you did that, you're going to go back to Format tab over here under the Cells group. And at this point, you can auto-fit the content, auto-fit column width, make sure those two words are nicely in that column. And then you're going to stop the recording. But to that, you have to go back to Developer. And then you're going to say Stop Recording. Okay, and then now you're going to, on the left side of the status, click on D1. So this is D1 to deselect, and then you're going to save it. You're ready to say yes. All right, so now I'm done with Excel 206. You're going to have, again, some screenshots just so you can compare with what you have at that point once you finish with Excel 206. And the screenshots are Excel 207. And then we're going to run it now. So click on A1 again, and now it's going to ask us to go to Home tab. There you go. And then it's going to ask us to clear the button, but this time in the editing group it wants to clear all, and I do believe I did show you this. So you're going to clear all, so that means everything's going to go back. And then now it's going to ask us to go to the Developer tab and then click on Macros button again. Remember, you are not recording, you just macros right here. And then on the macros list, click on this here on this workbook right here. Okay. And but it says to click, to make sure you click. This is, you know, click over here, necessary, and then you want to run it, and it goes back. Okay. Now it says then deselect cell A1. That means deselect. Now click somewhere else. Okay, that means deselect. And now you're gonna go to File, click on New. Okay, and it's asking you to click a blank workbook. That's a completely new one. So there you go. And now we're gonna deselect A1. So just go anywhere to deselect. Click on the Developer tab. There I go. And then click on Macros button. There I go, right here. And then on the macros list, click on the Open Workbook. So we're just gonna all open workbooks right here, and we're gonna click on this one. That's the one we're looking for, and then we're gonna run it, and it comes back in a new worksheet with the same macro that we did in the other worksheet. Okay, and now it says to deselect A1, which means go somewhere else, another cell, and then it says close book 2 with no savings. Close this and so I'm just gonna close it. And ask us to save and just say no. Down with page 208. Okay, remember these are very specific macros instructions. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but this is very specific on what they want you to do here. Okay, how to edit. So it says make sure that the EX9 macro workbook is open. It is open, and then click on the macro button on the code group. So this is a macro right here. And then make sure that this is actually selected. It is selected, and now we're going to click on edit. That's how you can edit, meaning making changes. It says click on module 1. So module 1 is right here under modules, okay? And it says that to make sure that you kind of go through it step by step, comparing on your screen what you have here, and then you might have the screenshots. You do have screenshots of how kind of it looks on Excel 211. Just compare, just explore on figure 9.9, which is in the next page. And then it says in the line where it says the size of the font, which is this, they want us to change it to 12. So that means that all these macros will have size 12 instead of size 11. That's all it means, okay? And then since review the code window, we did change it. So now we're just going to go to File here, and we're going to say, okay, close and return to Microsoft Excel after we did the change from 11 to 12. So that's how you edit these macros. And now we're going to click on A1, and we're going to go to Home tab again, and then you're going to clear button and editing group to clear all again. Okay. Then says click on any other cell to deselect A1. So I'm just going to click in here, click back to the developer tab, and then click on the macro button, which is right here again. And then make sure that this is selected, which it is, and then says run, and you will get it back. And it says to deselect A1, meaning go somewhere else on the spreadsheet, and then save. And say yes. This is asking you to save it. Okay, so as you can see, the steps are pretty forward. You just kind of have to go step by step. I wanted to do a few pages so you can see how I was doing it. There's only 2 more pages to be done here. I'm going to stop the video here. I'm sure you can do this. But if you have any questions on this much, just let me know. So you understand. I'm just going to go back to our blackboard here. So there's 3 assignments for the week, which is the hands-on. That's the one I was creating right now. And then obviously the challenges. If there's any time you need help one-on-one, this is where we can, and I'll show you again because I already did some videos, and this is where we can actually meet in live. So you will see, I don't have it here, but you will see a live section here where you can click in there. I'm going to show you another class. So I have different classes, but so I'm going to create a button in your class that's going to say live sections, click here. So what that means is that anytime you want that one-on-one for whatever reason, you're stuck in any steps, I can just guide you through it, and I can show you, I can share my screen so you can see how it's done, that type of thing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our class, which is Excel part 2 over here. So again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I will be sending an email, and I'm going to request all students to reply back to me just to make sure that you are getting my emails and that you are good to go when it comes to creating these modules, which we only have 2 more weeks, of course. Week 7 starts today. The due date is not until next week, okay? So today is Wednesday. It's not due until next Wednesday by next morning, and then we move to week 8, which will be our last week, okay? Please email me if you have any questions. Again, we can meet through Collaborate Ultra. I will post another announcement with that. If you need to meet, that's completely fine, but it will be individually. And of course, I'm always very happy to help if you need anything in terms of these modules, in creating these modules. All right, so I'm going to move back in here just to make sure you understand that this is the assignments are due. I'm going to make sure that you get an announcement on this. Thank you very much.